Greetings YouTube, Joe here with Culination Media, and welcome back to another episode of Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness. This is episode number 100, and in this episode we're going to be taking on another Cypher admin, but since Master Gale put up a glass wall, we can't go any further here, so we need to go back out the way we came where Ardos was, and after we try to leave, Gorigan will appear in the elevator off to the left, and he'll come and talk to us. Hey, it's me again, kid. You know, it makes me kind of happy to see you since I've seen you so often. What, like 3 times? That doesn't count. But the way you keep beating me, my cred's taking a beating. Also, I've only beaten you once because we've only fought once. Stop over-exaggerating. So, Master Gale gave me this one last chance to redeem myself. If I lose this one, there's no tomorrow. Here goes. Alright, then we're thrown right into the battle with Cypher admin Gorgon. So make sure that you are healed up. Don't make that mistake. Pretty much in the same way that Snaddle kept most of his team with the exception of Scizor being added and as well the Shadow Pokemon, Gorgon is going to keep the, I guess, the core of his team. The 4 non-Shadow Pokemon are going to be exactly the same except evolved. So Slowking and Ursaring are the exact same from the last battle with him, but he had Celio and Lairon in the last fight at the Cypher Key Lair. This time they are going to be fully evolved, so be prepared for that. Slowking is at level 42, Ursaring is going to be at level 43, and Slowking obviously is a Psychic and Water type, whereas Ursaring is a normal type, so let's get right down to it here. Protect with Aggron. We're going to use the strategy that he likes to use against him. Alright, so Ursaring is also going for Protect, so they pretty much have the same idea here. I'm guessing that Slowking's going to go for an Earthquake. If he does, though, he's not going to be able to hit anyone because Aggron is protecting himself. Ursaring is protecting himself. Yep, he is. And Flygon can't be hit by it, so I do suggest that you bring Flying-type Pokemon into this battle, much like you did last time. Just watch out for Slowking's Ice Beam. He will use pretty much the same exact strategy that he used last time, where he'll just alternate using Protect and Earthquake, because all 4 of his non-Shadow Pokemon all know Earthquake. They all know Protect as well. Alright, so Aggron's going to go for a Brick Break on Ursaring. We get lucky with a critical hit here because I don't think that was going to knock out Ursaring in one hit. Ursaring has a tendency to survive hits like that, but we do get lucky with that. Ursaring goes down. Aggron is next. And we know all too well that Aggron is a force to be reckoned with. Has very high defense, also a lot of attack power, so this could be dangerous. Water Pulse on Aggron takes away about half of his health, and also, unfortunately, yields a Confused Condition. It only has a 20% chance of causing a confusion, but unfortunately I got just very unlucky there. Alright, so Slowking's down to about 1/3 of his HP left, and we have Aggron on the field who has a 4 times weakness to both fighting and ground. But he's going to go for an Earthquake here, obviously, because Aggron is protecting himself. And Flygon is now going to unleash Solar Beam after charging it up. And Slowking's not going to get a chance to pull off that Earthquake after all. Down he goes. So we're down to 2 of his normal Pokemon, so that part is good. Walrein is the last of the normal Pokemon. And of course Aggron is confused, but he breaks through it just to fail in his attacking attempt on the protecting Aggron. So we have a level 44 Walrein and a level 43 Aggron here. Alright, so as for Walrein is very bulky, has a lot of HP, and it also has a fairly decent defensive stats on both ends of the spectrum. It is weak to rock, fighting, electricity, and grass, but we get super lucky again with another critical hit on Walrein, and Earthquake knocks it out. And we don't need a critical hit on Aggron because it's 4 times super effective, and even his awesome defensive stats cannot stand up to that. When not an Aggron, when a Flygon is unleashing it. Alright, so they both go down in the same turn, and we're just having an awesome battle here. We need it because his 2 Shadow Pokemon can be a pain in the butt, and they can very easily plow through most of your team here. Alright, so Flygon grows up to level 48, and then we have the 2 Shadow Pokemon coming out now. First of which is Poliwrath, the Water and Fighting type evolution of Poliwhirl. It's one of the possible evolutions. You need to use a Water Stone on Poliwhirl in order to evolve him into Poliwrath. As for the other evolution, Politoed, you would need to trade Poliwhirl while holding a King's Rock in order to get Politoed. Alright, the other Shadow Pokemon on the field now is a level 42 Mr. Mime from the Kanto region as well. It's a pure Psychic type, and its specialty is its special defense. It also has a pretty good special attack as well, but special defense is where it really can hold its own. So I recommend using special attacks against it, in fact, because it's not crazy defensive like Chansey or Blissey, but it's enough where you don't have to worry about killing it so much. It also has the super dangerous Shadow Storm, which does use special attacks, so it's going to do a lot of damage to your Pokemon, and it also attacks both of your Pokemon at the same time. So, yes, very dangerous. Alright, so Aggron's going to go for a Rock Tomb on Mr. Mime because we want to lower that speed a little bit. It also preys on his lower physical defensive stats at the same time, so we get him down to about half health just with one hit, so that part's good. Shadow Sky is still in effect, so we're going to be taking residual damage here after every turn, with the exception of Flygon because he pretty much gets it back with the leftovers. Alright, now on this turn, I'm going to go for, let's see, a Brick Break on Mr. Mime with Aggron because that should be not very effective, and we'll use Flygon's turn to go for a Dragon Breath. That inflicts neutral damage, but I was hoping for a Paralysis condition, didn't quite get it, but we did get Poliwrath down into the yellow. And he goes for the Shadow Rush there, which does a good chunk of damage to Flygon, and Aggron is going to bite the dust this turn regardless of what happens. We do get a Brick Break off, though, and it gets him down just before entering the red zone. So he should be in a good condition to capture. We're just going to need to slap him with a status condition. And Shadow Storm from Mr. Mime is actually going to take out Flygon and Aggron in the same turn. That part kind of sucks because that means that Poliwrath will get a free attack on whoever comes out next. Alright, so we got to send out two Pokemon here. Obviously, we need one of them to be able to inflict a status condition. That's why I'm going to go with Ninetales and Electabuzz, or our Zapron. So I thought about switching out to the other Electabuzz that I caught from Ardos, but it's just really not a good idea. You don't get the same egg moves that you do from the Electabuzz or the Elekid that you get from Hordle at the Outskirts stand. So I recommend against doing that. If you're going to use the Elekid, or if you're going to use Electabuzz just in general, just stick with the one that you get from Hordle. He's much better. Alright, back to the battle here. We're going to go for a Will-O-Wisp on Poliwrath because he's using mainly physical attacks like Shadow Rush, and then we're going to go for a Thunder Wave with Electabuzz on Mr. Mime. So now we have both of these Pokemon with status conditions on them, which means that they will be ready to capture. And with the burn damage, Poliwrath will be ready to go as well. Alright, so we absorbed the Shadow Rush pretty well, and we're going to have to take at least one more Shadow Storm here. The downside to this is that we cannot throw two Pokeballs in one turn. You can only throw, or attempt to throw one Pokeball on each turn, so we can't capture both of them this turn. We need to keep that in mind because Poliwrath is the one with the burn condition, so he can effectively die from it, whereas Mr. Mime cannot die from a paralysis condition. Alright, either way, we need to throw an Ultra Ball in this turn, so I'm going to take a chance here and try to throw it at Mr. Mime so that I don't have to absorb another Shadow Storm. If I get hit with another Shadow Storm, there's a very good chance that both Ninetales and Zapron are going to go down in this turn, and that could just be really bad news because that'll be 4 Pokemon down. I'll be down to my last 2, and yeah. Then all it would take would be a critical hit, and I'd be in really bad shape. But hopefully Mr. Mime will stay in. Yes, he does. All right. That's the Troublemaker off the field. We should be good to go now. We're going to use Sunny Day here just pretty much to waste a turn. There's no other real point to using it. And Poliwrath also knows Shadow Storm, but for the most part, he likes to use Shadow Rush. And a very smart move here, he switches to Shadow Storm because it's a special attack, and he's burned, so his physical attack has been lowered, so he switched over to that move. Very good idea. Electabuzz, however, cannot stand up to the Shadow Storms, but he goes down, and we're going to send out Crobat next. This should be the last turn, though. He's going to get some burn damage there. He's down into the red zone now. This is the optimal time frame to capture him, so hopefully we can do that. Got a bunch of Ultra Balls, but I also have some Net Balls that I want to use this Poliwrath should not be able to escape with the net ball, being in the red zone, and having a burn condition. All that on top of the fact that Poliwrath doesn't really have that low of a catch rate to begin with, so we should be okay. Yep, and Poliwrath stays in. Oh, excuse me, I had something in my throat there. Poliwrath stays in the Pokeball, and that's going to do it for Cypher Admin Gorigan. Whew. Grah, we're doomed! $4,500 for our troubles. Mr. Mime and Poliwrath are ours. Blah! That was the very last chance Master Greevil gave me. How could I keep losing to some kid over and over? If there were a tree, I'd climb it to get away from all this. And instead of climbing a tree, he's just going to run away. Much like what Snaddle and Lavrina all did. And, well, the next thing that we want to do here is go ahead and use the Pokemon Restoring Machine. We need to get healed up after that battle. Again, we took another beating. We're getting a good amount of experience. But at the same time, we're losing out on some experience with all of these Shadow Pokemon because, you know, we're not knocking them out. We're capturing them. Alright, so Flagon and Zaprong are both at level 48, and everybody else is at level 47. We have one more battle that is not a Cypher admin. There are some scientists in the room where Master Greevil was the last time that we saw him. We're going to be fighting them. But this is actually, I think, the last Cypher Peon before Greevil. So, he does have a Shadow Pokemon, so do come prepared with that. You won't quit being a pest, will you? No, sadly I won't. Alright, so, Cypher Peon Coax. He's going to start out with Glalie, or Glalie, depending on how you want to say it. Let's not get technical here. And Ampharos. So we have a pure Ice type and a pure Electric type. And both these Pokemon have fairly high special attack stats, especially Ampharos. Ampharos has a crap ton of special attack, and it's kind of ridiculous. So if he hits you with a Thunderbolt, which I'm assuming what he knows, they can do a lot of damage. He also has fairly high special defense. He's pretty bulky, to the point where you're not going to knock him out in one hit unless you hit him with Earthquake. Glalie, on the other hand, is not quite as bulky. You can knock him out easily with a Rock-type move, Fire-type move, but in this case, we're going to use Iron Tail, and that kills him off in one hit. Just don't bring your Dragon-type Pokemon into this battle at the beginning, until you get rid of that. Ampharos smartly goes for a Light Screen, so it's going to increase their special defense. And considering I have Ninetales out in the field, that was a very smart move. Alright, now we need to get rid of Ampharos, but Flamethrower now is not going to kill him. So we're going to save Flamethrower for Breloom, and even with the Light Screen up, Breloom still bites the dust there. If you don't want to use special attacks because of the Light Screen, you can also use Flying-type moves because it will be 4 times super effective against Breloom's, Grass, and Fighting types. Donphan is the replacement Pokemon. It's a pure Ground type, and it's the final evolution of Phanpy. And Rock Tomb, unfortunately, just did not knock out that Ampharos, so it's going to get a Thunderbolt off. And it goes for it on Ninetales, gets a critical hit, and somehow Ninetales survives, but that just destroyed Ninetales pretty much. A critical hit gets him down to 7 HP and paralyzes him, so Ninetales is pretty much done for. You get an Iron Tail off on Donphan, but as you can see, it only takes away about half of his health. And that's because Donphan has just amazing physical defense. He also has a great attack stat, so you're going to want to be careful. Anyway, Donphan went for a Defense Curl to raise his defense. Hopefully that's not going to be followed by a rollout, because as you know from the Rilgum Tower Coliseum, rollout does double damage after using Defense Curl. Whew. Heat Wave is able to knock out Ampharos and do a little bit more damage on Donphan. I would have killed him, but that pesky Light Screen that they have up. Aggron grows up to level 48. Doesn't learn any moves, but still, we want to get our Pokemon as close to level 50 as possible. Alright, the next Pokemon to come out, Dugtrio. A pure Ground-type Pokemon. It's the evolution of Diglett of the Kanto region. And Dugtrio is actually surprisingly good. This is a Shadow Pokemon, by the way. I don't think I mentioned that. It likes to use Shadow Break. So it can do a lot of damage, and it's also very fast. It has a very high speed stat and very high attack stat as well, and I'm pretty sure it comes with the move Tri-Attack, and Earthquake when you do finally purify it. So this Dugtrio is no slouch. And with the Sandveil ability, it makes it hard to connect with when it comes to attacking it in a sandstorm. So I would not count Dugtrio as a bad Pokemon by any means. Diglett, however, its pre-evolution is a completely different story. Yeah, Diglett's about as useful as... Well, I don't know. Pick something that you think is really, really useless, and that's how useful Diglett is. Alright, well, it's enough of that. Ice Punch from Zaprong is going to finish off that Donphan. Goodbye. He ended up not going for the rollout like I thought he was going to. He just instead went for Rapid Spin, which ended up knocking out Ninetales and allowed us to bring out Zaprong. Now, the part of that sucks is that I did not get the chance to get a Will-O-Wisp off on Dugtrio, and unless he keeps using Shadow Break on Electabuzz and gets paralyzed by my static ability, I don't have any way to put a status condition on this guy because Thunder Wave does not affect him. He's a ground type. So I guess I just have to bide my time pretty much. I'm kind of afraid to hit him with anything that's not very effective because Dugtrio is fragile. As you can see, Rock Tomb's not very effective and it does a lot of damage. However, we were able to reduce his speed a little bit, which is nice, because for some reason this particular Dugtrio seems extra fast to me, but it's alright. Okay, so now we have the Shadow Sky in play, and that's going to be damaging us every turn from here on out, but I think what I want to do, instead of waiting for him to try to paralyze himself, that I'm just going to use Protect with Aggron and just start throwing Ultra Balls at him. I mean, why not? I don't really have that much to lose in this case, other than, well, I mean, I have like 40 Ultra Balls, so I should be okay. Ah, crap, and Dugtrio does not quite stay in there, but that's kind of to be expected because, I mean, he doesn't have a status condition on him, and, please use that on Electabuzz. Thank you. Paralyze with Electabuzz, come on. 30% chance. Darn it. Okay, well, I'm kind of screwed now. I don't really have anything else that can inflict a status condition on him other than Dragon Breath from Flygon, but obviously that would kill him, so I can't do that. Just gonna have to hope that an Ultra Ball eventually is going to hold him. And I really don't want to attack him again either. Let's see, what we can do is confuse him so that maybe he'll attack himself and do a little bit of damage. Because I think even if he attacked himself like 5 times, that might not be enough to take away that much health. We'll see. First, let's try to keep him in this ball here. Stay in there, Dugtrio. Yes! Alright. Well, it didn't have to get ugly, that's for sure. And I did not want to have to reset just for Dugtrio after defeating Gorigan. That would be ridiculous. God, this isn't happening. It's not real. Oh, it is so real. I kicked your ass, man. Coax. Well, that does it for the last Cypher Peon. Before Greeble, that is. And I'm going to go back and heal, and we'll have yet another Cypher admin battle coming up. But that's for the next episode. Thank you very much for watching, and stay tuned for episode 101. Game on.